Hello all, it is May 4th. I have done a bookshelf tour, I think, last year on my personal channel, the Lizzie 1990, which is in the description. But I didn't do my writing shelf, so this is actually perfect. It's easier to bring the shelf to the camera rather than bring the camera to the shelf, because the other way around it would probably mess up the audio. But, yeah. The entire shelf is split into 6 sections. We're going to start with the stack of books I got participating in a correspondence course with the Institute of Children's Literature, which I'm not sure I told you about before, but I did that in like 2008 for a couple of years, and it didn't turn out too well for me, but at least I got all these books, which only like 3 or 4 of them they told me to use at all during the course, so I haven't actually looked at some of these. So first we have Book Markets for Children's Writers 2008 edition, which is really only good if you're marketing a novel, which I never did, but it's all about, tells you all about the interests of publishing companies and all that and how to sell to them. So I never really looked through that. They also gave me magazine markets for children's writers 2008, which I did look through when I was trying to publish a article I wrote. The only problem with this for me was that it only had about 5 Canadian magazines listed, none of which I tried to contact. I went with one I already knew about, kind of thing. Best of the Children's Market, a collection of over 80 articles and stories published by leading children's magazines, which I have, as you can see, been through a lot of tags, some stories and that, which is very beneficial to me because I'm not good with figuring out age groups, what would work best for what age group kind of thing. Usually, particularly when I was starting this course, I was trying to gear more towards young adult and teen kind of writing, and since then it's kind of gone more into adult as well, but I'm trying to branch into all aspects, including children's writing, so that was actually very helpful to me. From Inspiration to Publication, How to Succeed as a Children's Writer, Advice from 15 Award-Winning Writers, which was okay. I only read a few chapters when they kind of told me to in the course. But otherwise very helpful. And then these 2 I never really looked at all. Essentials of English, a practical handbook covering all the rules of English grammar and writing style. They never told me to look at. And Searching, a research guide for writers, another thing they never told me to look at. But I probably should get into because I'm really bad at research. Then we have Writing Basics for me, a thesaurus, which is beat up, and I didn't even realize I still owned it, because I mostly just use like thesaurus.com and dictionary.com. So there's that, and then a baby names book, which is literally being held together by an elastic band here, and it's very, very old. And I actually have a better huge one, but I can't seem to find it right now. So I haven't looked at this in ages, and especially not since I found babynames.com and Behind the Name a little bit. Next we have just random how to write books that I've found or been given over the years. These 3, I believe, came from my mom, who's also a writer. We have Guide to Fiction Writing by Phyllis A. Whitney, which I think I might have read a little bit. How to Write a Children's Book and Get Published by Barbara Suling, which was actually the first book I read on the subject when I was like 14, and this got me interested in writing a lot, and very, very helpful to me at the time. And then How to Write and Sell Your First Novel by Oscar Collier and Frances Spatz-Layton. Write, a punctuation, grammar, and style book, which was given to me by a friend. And The New Diary about journaling, which I just picked up, so I haven't really had much of a chance to look at yet. Then we have the huge stack of reference books, that I've picked up over the years. Just stuff that I know will come in handy with certain stories that I'm working on, or just things I'm interested in general that I want to include in stories. For example, these three, which I've mostly been gifted or found at garage sales, all about parenting and child rearing and the like, because this actually does come in handy with a couple of books I'm working on. This is probably the best one I've had the longest. Your Baby Child from Birth to Age 5 by Penelope Leach. This has helped in at least 3 books, but also babycenter.com. Then I have The Good Luck Book, an A to Z Guide to Charms and Symbols by Bill Harris, and Fairy and Folk Tales of Ireland by W.B. Yeats. Both for kind of fantasy stories and that. Belong to my mom. A book on divorce and the like for kids kind of thing. Raising and Adopting Children. And Cinderella Revisited by Dr. Peter Marshall. How to Survive Step Family Without a Fairy Godmother, which was very good. This is like one of the few books on the shelf that I've read front and back. And this helped a lot with a script I wrote a couple years ago. And I have, as you can see, an interest in step families and unconventional families in general, actually, for various reasons. And it does come up a lot in my writing. For some reason, a lot of my writing has to do with families. I don't know why. So there's that. My journaling section. This is just a little pocket journal I kept on me, because one of the first things I was told was to read everything and then document it all. So for the first few pages, it's all the books I read, for like a year, and my kind of basic review, and at the back, it's, stories I came up with, kind of little story hints and whatnot, and to be put in books later on. Empty journal. This one is Harry Potter fanfics ideas, 2004. This is book and TV show ideas, 2004. And then this is what I'm writing Prism in for the handwriting a novel challenge. And then finally, I had these two, probably the most important books on my shelf. Have nothing to do with writing, but they are my only signed copies, which is, of course, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and Etched in Stone by Tiffany Marie Sachs, who is one of my best friends. And, yeah. So, that is my writing shelf. I hope I got this in under 10 minutes. I was trying to rush through. And I apologize for my voice because I think I have a cold coming on. I should probably get to reading some of these at some point, but my reading, much like my writing, has failed in the last few years. So I actually haven't finished reading a book in like over a year. And I'm working on that. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you, Erin, for suggesting this. And I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.